Hey, what's up guys, it's Aladdin. Game of Thrones Season 8 just aired last night and holy shit, there's a ton of stuff that I want to talk about and break down, but I'll do that by giving you my top 10 holy shit moments and what I thought about last night's episode personally. But before I get started, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It definitely helps out the channel grow and lets others like you stay tuned with the latest shows and movies. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you guys can get notified right away when I drop my next video. This won't have any particular order, but I will go off by what I thought was my top 10 holy shit moments in last night's episode, so let's begin. Number 10. Jon and Daenerys finally arrive at Winterfell when an unwelcoming look from the north. Right off the bat, the season starts off with Jon and Daenerys riding through Wintertown while having all the Northerners stare at them as they pass by. This was expected to happen since the North isn't really fond of the Targaryens for everything they've done to the North. We know Daenerys doesn't want this right now and that she just wants to present herself as a peaceful person, but it's kind of hard to do that when her family's history is something that brought pain to the North. Hopefully throughout the season we can actually see the progression slowly build up for Daenerys and the North to the point where they can actually see that she isn't like her father, the Mad King. Also, this episode resembles a lot to when Robert Baratheon arrived to Winterfell back in Season 1, Episode 1. It's also cool how they implemented Robert's theme song as Jon and Daenerys are arriving to Winterfell. Essentially, this whole episode is just a huge resemblance to the first pilot episode from Season 1. Number 9. Sansa and Daenerys don't get along. We knew this from all the trailers and promos as well as the interviews that these two wouldn't get along right away. Sansa has been through a lot over the years and has learned about what manipulation can do to people as well as learning how power can dictate someone. She does believe that Daenerys is manipulating Jon right now by having him bend the knee, what she thinks wasn't the brightest idea, even though Sansa knows that they do need the troops and an army to defend against the Night King. Sansa has learned from the best when it comes to manipulation, which is from Cersei. It's obvious that she thinks that Daenerys is doing that to Jon right now. Daenerys, however, is looking for peace with Sansa and just wants Sansa to understand that even though you don't want to be my friend, which is okay, but you will have to accept that I am your queen, which will be the groundbreaker for the two. Just because we know Sansa isn't someone you clearly want to piss off, but same goes for Daenerys. She isn't someone you want to piss off also. It'll be quite interesting to see how these two act in next week's episode. You can definitely feel the tension between the two when they first met as well as when they were in the Great Hall discussing matters about food and all. Number 8. Dion rescues Yara. It was expected that Dion would go out and rescue his sister Yara, but I had no idea that it would be the first episode right away. Dion ended up doing a sneak attack at night while Euron was away with the queen and ended up ambushing some of Euron's men to get Yara back. I'm definitely glad to see that the mission was a success, but I just hope that we do get to see more scenes of the two just because now we know Theon wants to head back to Winterfell to fight alongside with Jon and Daenerys against the dead and the Night King. Yara wants to head back to the Iron Islands in case Jon and Daenerys get defeated, where then they can have a place to retreat if the Night King takes over Winterfell. Also, it seemed way too easy for Theon to get Yara back. I know they rescued her at night, but come on, Euron had the Golden Company and all his men all there, but how in the hell did they not get noticed right away? I'm not upset about it, but I do feel like it could have been better executed. Number 7. Jaime and Bran finally see one another. This moment was right as the episode was winding down and we finally saw the reaction of Jaime seeing Bran in a wheelchair. The last time Jaime saw Bran was way back in Season 1, Episode 1, right after he pushed him out the window where he saw him and Cersei having sex. It'll quite be interesting and awkward when these two have a conversation with one another. The next episode showed a preview of this where we saw Jaime in the Great Hall of Winterfell getting bashed by Daenerys and Sansa, so it'll be quite fun yet devastating to see Jaime getting bashed by everyone, but he does have Tyrion there, so hopefully he can suit in the room. Also, I thought it was kind of funny how Bran was literally waiting outside most of the time telling Sam that he's waiting for a friend to arrive, and then moments later we see that Jaime finally arrived, which in this case was that old friend. Number 6. Jon and Arya's reunion. It has been forever since these two last saw one another and the reunion for the two was just truly amazing and satisfying. I'm glad we got to see the two finally reunite after so many seasons. Last time Jon saw Arya was way back in Season 1, Episode 2, and after 8 seasons they finally reunite back home at Winterfell. This scene particularly was amazing just because we saw Jon and Arya show off their weapons as well as hearing some little details like how many people has Arya used Needle against, along with both of them talking about Sansa in her role at Winterfell. I was definitely satisfied when I saw Arya run up to Jon. That truly brought back memories from rewatching Season 1. It will definitely be interesting to see how the two work together once the Night King arrives at Winterfell. Number 5. Daenerys tells Sam about his father and brother. First of all, I didn't expect it to go down right away in Episode 1. It all happened quick actually. Daenerys and Ser Jorah came down to see Sam and Daenerys wanted to thank Sam for curing him from the grayscale that Ser Jorah had back in Season 7. As the conversation was going on, Sam brought up his family's name and that's when Daenerys told Sam what happened to his father and brother and that she ended up killing them for not bending the knee. It was definitely sad to see Sam break down like that considering his father was never the nicest towards him, but he still did love him despite the disrespect that his father gave him. Hopefully Sam can brush this off and not hold hold such a grudge towards Daenerys, but then again, Daenerys did offer them to bend the knee and to stay alive, but they chose different, which ended up her taking their lives. Number 4, Arya reunites with the Hound and Gendry. I was kinda hoping to see a little more love towards the Hound and Arya, but it seemed like the Hound was a little cold and harsh towards her. I was at least hoping for like a simple hug, but all we got was "you're a cold bitch, Arya," which is fine, I guess. We also saw her reunite with Gendry, which I thought was really nice and sweet. I do believe Arya does have feelings for Gendry, but isn't going to pursue anything just because she isn't really about that relationship lifestyle like her sister Sansa. But I am calling it now that Arya will save the Hound from dying from the dead when they fight at Winterfell. Number 3, Tormund, Barrack, and Commander Ed get a message from the Night King. We finally saw the three gathered together up north at the last hearth. As they enter deeper in the castle, they see a younger boy hanging up against the wall, which was also the same boy from the meeting in the beginning with Sansa, Jon, and Daenerys. The Night King ended up dropping a message for the living, letting them know that he is coming down to Winterfell next. Number 2, Jon finally rides Regal. We finally saw Jon ride a dragon, and it definitely did not disappoint. It was quite funny seeing Jon struggle at first getting on Regal while having Daenerys stare at him and laughing. That whole scene in general was truly well shot and taken care of. It was just a matter of time until we finally saw Jon on Regal. What I really liked about that whole scene was Regal taking Jon around the mountainside and just showing him a good time, even though it looked like Jon was struggling a lot. And lastly, number 1, Jon finds out about his true parentage. We have been waiting for years now where we would finally see Jon hear about his true parentage, and what better way to find out than have one of your best friends tell you who your real mother and father are. Sam ended up reuniting with Jon in the crypts of Winterfell, where we saw Jon down there looking back at Ned's statue. It was at that moment where Sam just opened up and straight up said, "You're the king of the 7 kingdoms," where then he goes off by explaining how he's the king and all, and then he tells him that his mother is Lyanna Stark and that his real father is Rhaegar Targaryen. Also, he tells him that his real name is Aegon Targaryen. You could see that Jon still can't grasp all this new information and just looks at Sam and says, "Are you certain about this?" Then Jon questions why Ned would even lie to him, where then Sam tells him he was protecting you from Robert Baratheon since Robert was killing every last Targaryen. That whole scene was just as I'd pictured it to be. It was right to the point, and it came from one of Jon's best friends that he knew that he could trust. It'll definitely be quite weird and awkward when he tells the rest about this news, which might even cause some conflict with him and Daenerys. But what did you guys think about this episode? It definitely mirrored a lot from the pilot episode of Season 1, which showcased a lot of similarities. I'm definitely happy with all the reunions that we saw, like Jon and Arya, Sansa and Tyrion, Dion and Yara, as well as Jon and Sam. But let me know in the comments section what you guys thought about episode 1 of Season 8. I want to say thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't by now. If you don't mind, share the video if you thought it was good and want others to see it. Watch my other videos containing Game of Thrones Season 8 in the next video. I'll have more Game of Thrones content up in the upcoming days, so stay tuned for that. Thank you all once more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.